Dirty facts about ancient Greeks that will leave you speechless. Number 12. The Spartans were hairy. Unlike their more civilized neighbors, the Spartans didn't shave their body hair. As a result, they created a number of statues and artwork depicting the male reproductive organ in all its glory. The Greeks believed that death was an inevitable and inescapable part of human existence, and they weren't afraid to confront this reality head-on. Instead of seeing death as something negative, the Greeks often celebrated it as a natural and even heroic part of life. And power! As it meant that you could afford to buy and maintain a personal servant. They would be trained to perform tricks and would often be taken to parties or other social events. The Greeks also kept pet dogs, which they used for hunting and guarding. Parties could go on for days, with guests drinking wine, dancing, and feasting. The Greeks also loved to attend theatrical performances, which were a major part of their culture. Plays were performed in large outdoor theaters, and the Greeks would often dress up in costume and makeup to take on the roles of the characters. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing content. However, monkeys were seen as more of a luxury item and were primarily kept for the amusement of their owners. These slaves were typically prisoners of war or people who had been sold into slavery. The Greeks believed that the dead would continue to use their favorite possessions, such as jewelry, clothing. They believed that the dead could communicate with the living, and they would often consult oracles or seers to get messages from beyond the grave. The Greeks also believed that certain objects, such as mirrors and gemstones, could reflect or magnify the supernatural energies that surrounded us. As a result, the Greeks often used these items in religious rituals or kept them in their homes to ward off evil spirits and furniture, and they wanted to make sure that they were able to take these items with them. Additionally, the Greeks often buried their dead with food and drink, as they believed that the dead could still eat and drink, and they wanted to make sure that they were well nourished in the afterlife. As a pet, they would perform menial tasks for their owner, such as cooking, cleaning, and entertaining. In some cases, they may have also been allowed to participate in athletic competitions or other public events. However, it's important to note that the ancient Greeks did not view slavery as a moral issue. They believed that some people were simply born to be slaves and that it was their duty to serve their masters. This is evident in their numerous myths and legends about heroes who died tragically, but were nonetheless celebrated as martyrs. Furthermore, the Greeks believed that death was simply a transition to another realm of existence, and that the afterlife was a place that could be reached by traveling through the underworld. Some historians believe that the Greek obsession with the phallus may have been a way to make up for perceived shortcomings in other areas. For example, the Greeks were famously short of stature, so they may have exaggerated the size of their manhood to make up for their lack of height. In fact, they grew it with pride. A clean-shaven Spartan man was a rare sight. But why did they do this? Body hair acted as a sort of sign of courage, and the more hair one had, the braver he was considered. Spartans believed that the more hair, the better able they were to withstand pain. So what did the Spartans do? To keep their bodies as hairy as possible, they stopped shaving when they reached the age of 30. And no, it wasn't just a fashion statement. They believed that having body hair made them stronger and more capable of enduring hardship. Their women also sported some serious facial fuzz, which may have been part of an effort to make them more attractive to their hairy Spartan men. The ancient Greeks believed that the phallus was a symbol of masculinity and power. The ancient Greeks were fascinated with death. Surprised? Well, there's more to come. Stay tuned. The ancient Greeks kept pet slaves. Having a pet slave was a sign of wealth. The ancient Greeks kept pet monkeys. Monkeys were imported from Egypt and were popular among the wealthy as they were exotic and amusing to watch. The ancient Greeks loved to party. The Greeks were known for their love of food and music, and they would often celebrate with wild abandon. The ancient Greeks had a fascination with the occult. Now it's time to hear from you. Which fact surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below.